Hey everybody, Ken Salcido from Signature Properties with you again. Thanks for joining me. Today my guest is Stephen Moreno. He's a mortgage consultant and sales manager here at Capital City Home Loans. Stephen, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Ken. I appreciate it.
Hey, we're going to get right to it. You know, last year was such a crazy year for us in the housing industry. On the realtor side, we're kind of seeing a leveling out of things. You know, things are sort of slowing up a little bit. How is it on your side of things with the mortgages? What kind of activity are you seeing right now?
So right now, I mean, it's definitely slowed down a good bit. You know, 2020 was really the big year for us because we did so much refinance volume and coupled with all the purchase volume. And then last year, you know, some of that refi volume was starting to slow down because we had done so much of it. But still purchase volume was really heavy. And really that has been the business stayed pretty steady up until, you know, probably the beginning of the summer, you know, when the Fed decided they wanted to put the brakes on the housing market and inflation in general. You know, we've seen rates go from 3% last fall to now where we're looking at 6 to 6.5%, you know, on good 30-year fixed rate conventional profiles. Yeah. So, you know, it's definitely, the refi business is pretty much non-existent at this point. And we do have some people that are doing, you know, they might want to pull cash out of an investment property or pull cash out as a, you know, to fund some renovations or maybe consolidate some debt, some of that kind of thing. But rate and term refinances, and you're just trying to lower your payment. I mean, like I said, you know, nobody's going from 2.75 to 6.5 on purpose. You know? Right. So it's definitely put the brakes on that. But so you know, it's kind of a natural slowdown this time of year, generally anyway. But it's definitely been a little slower than normal for sure.
Well, you touched on my next question. One of the questions I get a lot is what's going on with the interest rates right now? Of course, we're recording this September of 2022. You just touched on it. We're seeing interest rates for 30-year fixed in about the 6 range. 7? Yeah,
they're depending on, you know, there's a lot of things that affect a rate. So there's no one interest rate for today. There is a chart of rates for every scenario you can think of. But if you're looking at a vanilla type loan where you're talking, you know, primary home, 800 credit, 20% down, you know, you're probably looking between 6 and 6.5, depending on whether or not you want to pay discount charges.
Going to put you on the spot here a minute. I know you don't have a crystal ball, I don't either, but what are your prognosticators in your field saying? What's the short, long-term future for these interest rates? You have any idea what's going on?
Well, I mean, you know, the only thing I can tell you about rates is that they're going to go up, they're going to go down, and they're going to stay the same, and I don't know when. But, you know, if we were going to try to put a crystal ball on it, I mean, we've been sliding up and down around 4% for 10 years or so. So at some point, you know, you expect those rates are going to pull back. But if you look at a historical rate chart, you know, for 50 years, I mean, you could see back in the 80s, you know, rates were in the teens. You know, the highs they got were 17, 18%. And even in 06 and before the market crash in 08, they were above 8. So, you know, a 6% rate sounds bad when you're talking about where they used to be at 2.75. But they're really not as bad as what they have been in the past. And I think at some point, you know, I don't want to put a bullet point on it, but I mean, in the next 2 years, 3 years, I'm sure there's going to be opportunities for people to refinance these rates back into, you know, a lower interest rate in the 4s or something. I don't think we'll ever see 2% again, barring some kind of giant COVID, you know, deal that pushes rates, that the Fed has to act in a way to drive rates down. But I think there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of people. You know, what we've been telling people is you're marrying the property but dating the rate.
Well, hey, how can people find you if they want to obtain your services? Is there a website they can go to? Yeah,
so I have a website. My website is just stsimonsmortgage.com. That's all spelled out. It has all my contact information. I have a Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
And your physical address, man, you're right here in the village.
Right here in the heart, yep. 621 Ocean Boulevard, right here on St. Simons.
Good.
That's it.
Well, folks, I encourage you, if you're looking for a place here on St. Simons Island, I'm a realtor. I'd love to help you out. Give me a call at 325-CALL-KEN. But first off, come see Stephen Moreno here at Capital City Home Loans.
Thanks, kid.
And you'll take care of them, make sure they qualify for what they're wanting to buy.
Yes, sir.
You'll let them know what their situation is.
Exactly
before they get into it.
That's exactly right. And give them the right advice to find the right product for their family. That's
awesome. Right. Stephen, thanks for joining me today.
Yes,
and
sir.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, this is Ken Salcido from Signature Properties, hoping all of you have a wonderful island day.